I rushed through yesterday's lecture very quickly because I had a dentist appointment at 4 o'clock, so I did a 30-minute lecture, so it wasn't complete by any means. So I told the guys to watch today's recording there. So, but for some reason I missed that you guys we have a vacation week next week. Well, it's probably a good thing because I was going to end up canceling at least one of your classes next week anyway, because I have a trip to Lancawi on Tuesday for a interview, not for a job, but for students, mock interview for students up at Lancawi. So I was going to be gone next Monday and Tuesday anyway, So as a result, I'm not going to miss any classes there. So, and we're meeting tomorrow at 8 o'clock, right? And that'll be about a 1-hour meeting, maybe an hour and 15-minute meeting, because I've got a 10 o'clock student intro meeting there. So tomorrow I actually have 2 intro meetings with students, and then Thursday I have two meetings with students. So it's a little bit crazy this week. Fortunately, I'll be done after next week, and after your break, I'll be back to a normal schedule. This will be the only class I'm teaching, and I can hopefully make up some classes that we've missed up there. Get back on that there. Okay, let's just kind of go through here. And what we're going to do here today is I'm going to kind of go through this discussion of there, and it's actually a relatively short lecture, because all we're going to do is we're going to take what we did last week, or earlier this week, last week, and we're going to change it a little bit to where we can have this is not the, okay, where we can have an arbitrary number of students right there. As you recall, the example we did last week is we entered 10 students' grades and we averaged out the number of grades. Now we're going to put what's called a sentinel at the end of our loop data entry. So we're going to enter grades until we reach a grade of a unacceptable value. In this particular case, if we're entering student grades, we cannot have a grade of -1. In other words, nobody can get a negative grade on their on their quiz. As much as I'd like to have given a negative grade for students taking a quiz, the lowest grade you can give is a 0. So if I enter a -1, that tells the computer program that I write that I'm done entering grades right there. So we use a sentinel value, also called a signal value, a dummy value, or a flag value, but basically it's the end of data right there. So again, we're going to modify the way that he writes the program and just kind of go through it from scratch right there. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the one we did last week and just change that there. So again, we go through the same thing. We initialize the variables, we input the grades, and then we calculate that there. This is our top-down level that there. We're looking at our program from the top thing. What 3 things does this program need to do? First thing it needs to do is initialize our variables. So we have total, the number of students, we just initialize that there. Then we go through and we input our grades, and then we calculate our grades. Now, we typically take that a little bit further, and we go through, and we don't know how many grades we're using, sentinel control, but there. So we come through here, and this is a little bit more detail on this one right here. This here just says input, sum, and total, and count the quiz grades right there. So here we're going to go through here, and these are the steps that there. And we're going to do this in subroutines. So I'm going to change this a little bit and do this in subroutines right there. So we're going to pass a few things. So we're going to do this a little bit differently that there. And I'm going to just kind of jump through this code a little bit and then start writing the code, and that's what you'll want to follow right there. So our pseudocode, set the counter equal to 0. This is the last part. If the counter is not equal to 0, we go through and we calculate that there. So this is what our total program is going to look like right there. is we initialize our variables to 0. We enter the first grade. We go through and we enter each grade one at a time and add that grade to the total and the number of grades counted. And then when we're done, we're going to print out our grades right there. So I'm going to do this completely different than probably the slides do, but right there. So right there, again, we introduce a new type called float. Float and double are really about the same thing right there. Compared to float variables, doubles are just larger magnitude and finer, and finer detail. So double is actually uses more digits. It's more accurate right there. So for most of our programs, we can either use float or double. We've been using double. Float is another way of doing it. I tend to use the word float. Float and double can be used interchangeably, but double is more accurate right there. But when we say more accurate, we're talking out 10 decimal places right there. So right there. We have this cast operator. We haven't talked about that much, but cast operators are used to force a floating point calculation when you have integer components. So in this particular case, I'm going to kind of skip this slide right there. But when we do our cast operation right here, right there, right here. Okay, this is our cast operation right here. This statement right here is static cast double, and we're going to say average is equal to total divided by grade counter right there. And what that essentially is doing is we're going to say here is that average is equal to total divided by grade counter, but we want to force that to be a double precision calculation. Total is an integer, grade counter is an integer. We want the calculation to be floating point, a double precision. So we have to use the word cast, static cast, and double there, and that forces it to be a floating point operation or a there. So again, everything else is pretty much the same right there. So I'm going to just kind of jump through here and talk and work through this problem right here. Right here. So we're going to go through here, and I'm just going to write this from scratch right there. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Project. Right here, new project. And it's a window console. And I'm going to call it grades 2 right there. C++ right there. And grades 2 right there. And save right there. And this actually started this forming, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a couple of functions. The first function I'm going to create is I'm going to call it get grades, and I'm going to return int get grades right there, and we're going to pass it type void right there. And actually, we're going to pass it int total right there. And I'm going to pass it the address of get total right there. And I'll talk about this a little bit right there, is because, put the bracket here, right here, is that this is a function declaration. It's going to return a value that's an integer, but I also passed it something called total, and I passed it the ampersand of that so that I can change it. When I pass variables to a function, I can pass it two ways. I can pass the value, or I can pass its address. This is a very important distinction. If I pass it, the value, I can change it in the subroutine, but the value is lost. If I pass it the address, I can change it and it changes in the calling program. So I'm going to say total is equal to 0 right there. And I'm going to say get and int, let me actually put these in front of that there. Int number students equal 0 right there. So I'm going to, at this point, I'm going to tell it that there's number of students is 0 and the total is 0. And then I'm going to go through there and I'm going to see out right there, enter the grade for the first student, -1 to end right there. Right there. And I'm going to down here, I'm going to just go through and work this right here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say right here, int number of students equals 0. And I'm going to say number of students equal get grades right there. And I'm going to pass it total right there. Right there. And I need to also put int total right there. So this is a little bit different right here. So, and I'm going to, at this point, before I do this right here, I'm just going to comment this out, and I'm just going to put a return total, or number of students right there. Right there, just to see if I've got the syntax right. Grade 2 and project, add to project right there. Okay, it already exists. Okay, I don't need to do anything. So project, execute, compile, and int, what there? In function, number of students not declared in the scope. All right, int number of students. Right there, return. Oh, number of students right there. I misspelled that there. Invalid type have int. Right there. Total. Let's see. Oh, no, that's right. I need to and yeah, this is going to give me headaches because I forgot the correct syntax. Oh, number of students is, yeah, that should be number of students. should be void. Right there. Let's just pass a total like this right here. We'll see what happens right there. Okay, this works here. It may not work totally. I mean, we may have to make some changes later on. But this works all right. So enter that there. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the name for the first one that there. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to go while. Or first off, we need to input that there. CN. Right there. And we're going to put student or grade. Grade right there. And we need to declare grade as a int right up here. Right there. Int grade. Right there. And then what we're going to do at this point is we're going to say while grade not equal to -1. Right there. Right there. And we're going to then say total is equal to total plus grade. Right there. Number students plus plus. Right there. C out. Enter grade for next student. Make it 1 to end. Right there. Right there. Right there. And then we're going to see in grade. Right there. And we'll see what happens here. At this point, I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to put it down here. Okay. So what we're going to do that there is, this should, at this point, enter the grade. So let's go through it and compile. CN. Oh. Is that right? Let me go back and look at my code and make sure I'm C out. Yeah, C out. Oh, I may have that going in the opposite direction. C out, yeah, C in. Okay, that's going in the right direction. Right there. IO manipulate. MIIP. And compile. CN was not declared in the scope right here. That looks right. What am I doing wrong right there? C out, receives, space, do I need a space right there? Okay, what am I doing wrong here? I can have a day that things go wrong, and this might be it.
Sid,
Yeah.
you tried to put in using namespace.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Using namespace STD, right? Is that what I'm missing right there? And by the way, when you see me doing stupid, please tell me when I'm doing stupid. Yeah, that there. That there. I left that out, right? This line right there. Okay. I think I've done that before. That there. Okay, now let's try it again. Execute. Okay, thank you, that there. So, all right, so 89.23 minus 1, and there, we done that. Now, let's see whether the values get returned properly, right there. So, and this is the big key right here. We're calling this here, so let's just do cout the number of students is right there, and we're going to say number of students in line right there, and cout the total of grades is right there, total in line right there. Let's see if that works. Compile and execute. 50 minus 1 minus 1, and the total of students is 50, is that there, but total does not get passed correctly right there. So, and I didn't think that it would, because I have to now remember passing my variables right there. So here we have to pass it the address right here, and here we have to receive right there. Let's see if that works. Otherwise, I'm drawing a blank right here. Execute, compile. All right, that works. Let's see whether it works. It compiles right, whether or not it works right or not. So we're going to say 50 minus 1. And in this particular case, it's coming back with the total number of grades is 60, which is not right. Right there. So as I recall, total is equal to total plus grade. I think I have to put the right there. Oh. And that doesn't close the program. Doesn't like that there. And I'm just drawing a blank here at some point here. And it's still giving me the correct number that's there. So total is not being passed correctly right there. And for whatever reason, I am No, okay. That is star right. Give me. I just drew a complete blank right here for whatever, right there, because this is right. This is right. Oh. Give me a 1 second here, because I just drew a blank on this. Again, it goes back to, that changes the address. I don't want to change the address. I want to change the contents. Right there. Just give me 1 second here, because I did not prep this part of the lecture right here, and for whatever reason, number of students is right because I'm passing it the value, but at there, and this is one of the most difficult things here is when we pass. Right there, and the syntax is slightly different from what I'm used to. Right there, and you got to get the right combinations of asterisks and ampersigns, or it doesn't work. Right there. Passing by reference, C++, right there, passing arguments by reference, right there, and I'm cheating. Okay, I come here, this is supposed to be, oh, who, oh, okay, this is supposed to be the ampersand right here, and who, and I just, okay, that's the only place I put it, that there. That's completely different than C. It's actually much easier. But supposedly, if that's right, that's much easier. It's still giving me the same result. Oh, it actually, the problem, I'm sorry folks, the problem is right here. Okay. The problem is that grade, enter, the last grade does not get entered right there. That's what's going on right here. Right there. So number that they're, yeah, no, that's, no, the last grade is not getting entered right there. Okay, what we need to do here is I need to put one more line. If grade not equal 0, now the last time it's going to be equal to -1 right there. Total is equal to grade plus 1 right there. I'm going to do C out right there. Okay, I see my, I think I see my mistake here. $50, $50, $50 -1. Yep, it's working right now. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. What I let me go back and explain what's going on here and the mistake I was making. I'm calling this function right here. This is a function that I wrote right here. I wrote a function called get grades. I need to return two values from that there. One is the number of students, and the other is the total number of grades. So I'm returning here the number of students right here. This is where I'm returning the number of students. Total in this particular case, and I can comment that out, mine out here, is what I'm going to return. So I have to pass it the address to it. When I put the ampersand in front of that there, that's telling the compiler that I'm passing an address and I want to change it in the code. If I don't put that ampersand in there, it won't change it in the code. So if I take that ampersand out right there, and I'm going to put the right there, and I'm going to also put a inline here, right there. When I put this in right here and I run this now, I'm going to put 50, 50, 50, and minus 1. Notice that it comes back and it gives me 150 here, right there. I know it's a little hard to see, but it shows 150 here, but here the total number of grades is 1. The value did not get passed back. If I go back here and I put that ampersand here, right there, and as I said earlier at the beginning of the semester, I have not taught C++, that there, and I haven't used it very much. This was completely different with the old with C at there. But all we do is we just put the ampersand that there. It makes it a lot easier. And then when I execute it, here, I'm going to put 50, 50, 50. Then I put minus 1 to end this right here. And now the 150 gets returned back to the main program. So that there. This is a function call. Now a function call, you've used functions before like sine, cosine with that there. But this is a function that gets called right here. Right there. So now we're going to turn right around and I'm going to write another function and I'm going to delete this, cut this right here. Cut this. And I'm going to write another function here and I'm just going to call it print result right there. And I'm going to pass it number of students and total right there. And I'm going to write this function right there. So the name of the function is called print result. And I'm just going to put it in here. And it's of type void. It doesn't return anything. Print result. And it receives int. And the order we got is number of students. And I'm just going to say num and total right there. And right there. And we're just going to simply say int or double AVG right there. And we're going to simply say AVG is equal to, and here I'm going to follow this syntax that they give us here, right here, cast underscore static underscore cast double, static cast right there, double right there, and total divide by num right there. And let's make sure that that syntax matches right there. Cast, and that should be a single right there and a single that there. Double, okay. Right there, that's not right. Right there. Right there. I'm just going to go through and just compile it just to see if I got any errors. Total, oh, I forgot to declare total right here. Or give it a int. Right there. Okay. And okay, that's right. Okay. And then we're just going to go through here and we're just going to do the out. The average is, and we didn't put the, yeah, I'm just going to do it that their average is right there. AVG in line right there, and project execute end in line right there. And we're going to say 75, 75, 75, up 754, but that's all right. And the average is 301 simply because I put the wrong right there. So if we execute it again, 50, 50, 100, 100, minus 1, and we get an average of 75 right there. So essentially that's the way that you would that I would write this. The only thing I've done differently here is that I've wrote this with two functions. So my main program is just simply I go out and get the number of students and the grades right there, and I return back the total right there and the number of students, and then I call another function to print that. So I've made my main program much simpler right there. I have two functions. The first function is the one right here, and this one is the one that gets the grades right there, and it has my main, this is the heart of it right there, and then the second function is right here. Now notice that I put the functions before main. Normally you don't do that. Normally you put the functions after main, but then you have to declare them. So if I put the functions before main, I'll get an error right here. Cut. And I put them that there. I'll get an error right there. And it tells me that they're not declared. And what we have is we need to put in here function headers. Headers right there. And we just simply copy the first line of each one of these right here. Get grades. Copy. And we put a semicolon at the end of that there. And we do the same thing right there, and all we're doing there is we're telling it that those functions are going to be found later on. So we're telling the compiler that I've got two functions that are going to be called in this program, one called get grades and one called print results, and they're going to receive this one. The first one is going to be of type int, it's going to return an integer. The second one's of type void, but it receives two integers passed to it right there. You actually at there, and then the functions are actually down here right there. So this is the normal way of doing it. So you normally put main first, but anytime you write a function, you have to put a function header at the beginning right there. So this is the way that you would normally write this code. Now I'm going to make your life a little easier right here. Save at there. Yeah, I can't make your life easier. I don't have internet. I was going to actually post this up on Facebook for you real quick, but since I don't have internet in this room, let me try to see if I can get internet again. Connect. And it tells me that I'm connected but no internet. You see, it should give me the login screen. Is what it should give. That's what it does for you, right? It gives you the login screen. This one doesn't. It doesn't. Let me try Edge. See whether Edge does. Nope. Windows 10 does not like their login screen. Ever since Windows 10 updated that I cannot get into their so all right, you're gonna have to just kind of pardon with that there, because this is and I know if I make this any smaller to where more of it shows up on the screen, let's try 15. You can get more. Can you still read that in the back right there? Can you read that in the back there? I'll leave that up for a few minutes and then I'll put the two functions up right there. I was actually going to try to post this on Facebook, but since I can't get internet here, I need to. They put a cable here, but it's broken. Let me see if he's got a good cable next door. One end. Oh, here's the what a mess. maybe. Documents. Okay, I just posted the file up that's there. So that might make it a little easier for you. So you don't have to try to read this right there. So, right there. Right there. So, okay. All right. That's basically it. I'm going to stop my lecture right there. And I went about another extra 15, 20